Incredibly pleased to have Wisconsin Athletic Director Barry Alvarez with us. And Coach, I do want to start with the college football playoff. I've got to. It's a unique position for you. You were on the committee for 3 years, so you certainly know what goes on in that room. And, of course, the athletic director here as well. Based on what you know of the committee, can you envision a scenario where an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, perhaps there's a subtext here regarding one that may be near and dear to your heart, gets left out of this thing?
You know, and I made this statement. I was asked that same question last week, and I was not trying to lobby for us. But I just cannot imagine a Power 5 school going undefeated through the regular season, win their conference championship, and not be in the top 4. I just can't imagine. I can't fathom that happening.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Coach. When you were on the committee, and I had a chance to sit in on the mock selection, and I learned a ton, and I thought one of the interesting things was, how do you distinguish between teams with records that are dissimilar? How do you distinguish between undefeated teams and one-loss teams, and the possibility of putting a one-loss team in front of an undefeated? Same with a 2-loss in front of a 1-loss. We see those all over the rankings. How did you personally distinguish them?
I had a system that I used. First of all, I'm going to watch games, and I'm going to critique the teams. I'm going to see what is actually going on the field, not what somebody's saying. I want to watch them play. I want to see the strength of the team, see the weaknesses, evaluate them, and then the analytics that I took the top 8 profile items of the previous 10 national champs. The things that were most consistent with them. And I ranked those things and had a total, and it gave me an idea as I ranked the teams, whether I was thinking of or seeing things right, and what it would do. Sometimes it would separate teams enough or considerably to help me make a decision. So it was a combination of watching, evaluating, and then using analytics. And then we have criteria. There are criteria that you use head to head. At the end of the season, conference championship, all those things come into play when the season's all over.
Coach, this is the time of year where everyone's talking about expanding the playoffs, right? I mean, I'm really opposed to it, but I'm more interested in your opinion about it. What is your opinion about it, and why?
My opinion is I like 4. Everybody wants to talk about giving the opportunity. This, you're going to always argue about 5 and 6, maybe 7 and 8, and there are probably 8 teams that can play. No one thinks about the players.
Right.
Those guys. You talk to Urban, or you talk to any of these guys, and I'm sure Nick would be the same way. When they finish playing, you play 12 games, you play a conference championship, then you go a semifinal game and a final. There's nothing left in that tank. They're still college kids. Now they're starting second semester. So no one puts that into play. And so I think 4 is the right number. You're always going to have criticism about which 4. There's always going to be someone else who could be there. But this is great for college football. I mean, have you seen as much chatter and discussion about, and since the first week? It's if they run the table since the first week. Well, there's only a few left that have a chance to run the table.
So, Coach, let's change the focus to your program here. A lot of programs around the country would love to have the consistency you've created here. Your last 3 coaches have all been very successful. So what's the secret to building a program where, as you hire new coaches, you still have a level of success that you guys do?
I think it's important to know who you are. Know who you are. Know what every coach looks for, an edge or an advantage. We try to, our walk-on system, because we're one school in a state, one Division I football school in the state. Players in the state want to play here. We give them an opportunity. Besides that, the school is very difficult to get into. So we're going to recruit beyond our scholarship players, and we're going to bring in a group of walk-ons that many of them will end up being very good players and solid players for us. I call them my erasers. They made up for the mistakes that we made in our signings. But that's one. We just know who we are, know the type of player that we can consistently recruit, and then build your program and your style of play according to that. And then just how we operate in the off season. The thing that makes me proud now is so many of our former athletes, not just football, but basketball and hockey right down the line. They have all come back. They're working in the system. They know our culture, and they sell it. And our players have a consistent message.
So earlier in the show, we were talking about the state of the Big Ten, and I really feel like there's great parity on both the East and the West. I'd love to get your opinion on that.
Well, I think that the West all of a sudden has shown that they're stronger than most people said when you start the season. And, you start looking around and you dig a little deeper, and you look at an Indiana team that hasn't won a game in the league but has played everybody very competitively. And some of the teams that in our league that they're down at the bottom of their division have been competitive and won outside the league. So I think the two games last week with the Michigan State win, the Iowa win, and how they won really bodes well for our league. I think it's much stronger than, we went into the year thinking it was going to be a very strong league. And I think it maybe is stronger than people thought, personally.
So when the league first broke up in the divisions, we went success since I think Penn State joined the conference, and now we're East and West. Advantages of being East and West over the balanced conference that started a couple years ago?
We preserve, going East and West, as I look at it for us, selfishly, we preserve our rivalries. We lost our rivalries. When we split it the first time, we weren't playing Iowa every year. We protected Minnesota because it's the longest ongoing rivalry in college football, but we couldn't play Iowa. That's not right for our fans. It's so close, and we have so many fans that it's an easy drive for them to follow us. There's always somebody, when you divide East and West, someone is going to get the short end of the stick, and we did initially.
Athletic director here at Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez. What an incredible job you have done, not just as a coach, but when you think of the level of consistency, the longest streak of consecutive bowls and NCAA tournament appearances of any school in the country. Just tremendous success here at Wisconsin, and this is the man who built it, Barry Alvarez. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Great to see you. Let's go over to Michelle.